Hey, hello, and welcome to the Humanity of Sales, where purpose meets profit. I am your host, Heather Hansen O'Neill. Now, this is the time of the year for association conferences and company events. There are events all the time. So I've been to many of them recently. Now, most often, I'm there because I'm supposed to be speaking from the stage. That's what I do. I'm a keynote speaker. But because I believe in ongoing learning, I sometimes go to sit in the audience and learn from other people and meet people. I love to network. During one event recently, I was in this small group and two of the people were having one of those conversations. I don't know if you've ever witnessed one of these. The one up of what could or has gone wrong. You know, the people who are sometimes focusing on how bad the weather is, or how long the travel was, or what's going on with their busy, busy worlds, or how bad the food is, or what went wrong with that last speaker, or it's too cold. You know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've witnessed this. But then the third person in our little gathering, she was amazing. I just sat there listening, and for every complaint that the other two people came up with, she found the silver lining. She was like, oh, yeah, but you know what? That longer trip with the traffic, that gave me the opportunity to have a phone call with a friend that I haven't spoken to in so long. And it was great because in my head, I'm thinking, okay, this is the person I want to sit next to next. This is the person I want to spend some time getting to know. While the other two people were kind of getting irritated with her. It was so much fun to witness. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I believe how that it's really, really important to be conscious of the things that we focus on, of the things that we put out into the world, of the things that we spend our time with, of the things that we expand in the world, and that we actually get to choose. That's what this is all about. Being able to consciously choose to spend time with people who lift you up, or to consciously choose to focus on the good in a person or a situation, or spending time with people will make you smile, or focusing on ways to serve, that we can choose that. And when we do, it expands, it changes our outcome, it changes our experience, and it changes our outcomes. And that is actually where the Humanity of Sales came from. It's where the entire Finding Humanity initiative came from. Because I was in a very difficult place and I was trying to make sense or meaning of it. And I consciously chose to seek out, to find moments of humanity, of kindness, of people doing good. And this whole thing came about because of that. What about you? Have you ever had a situation like that where something incredible happened because you chose to shift your focus? That's part of what we're talking about today. But you know what else? Those conferences that I was talking about, I found our guest today at one of them. I found her because I loved what she was talking about. She was one of the speakers, and we got the opportunity to talk afterward. And she's doing good. She's doing a lot of good in the world, and I think you're going to love her. So I invited her here to share some wisdom with you, to share some tips, some inspirations, some stories, and let's just bring her on. She is the executive director of Activate Good, Rose Thompson. And here we are. I'm so excited to introduce her to you. With a diverse career spanning multiple states and areas of focus, Rose Thompson brings over 12 years of leadership and dedication to the Activate Good team, where she currently serves as executive director. Her journey into the nonprofit world began with a leap from education and has since included directing programs that support youth development and volunteerism in Wisconsin, New York, Chicago, Georgia, and North Carolina. I may have thrown in Chicago. I'm gonna have to ask her about that. So I can't wait. Let's just bring her on. Let's have a conversation and see what she can share with you that you might be able to take away and use in your journey toward the humanity of sales. Welcome, Rose. How are you?
I am great. Thanks for having me, Heather.
So, am I right? Did I dream that you were in Chicago too?
You're close. I lived in Wisconsin once upon a time.
Okay. All right. All right. So we'll take close. That's okay. But how about, because I know that there's probably a lot more to your background than this short bio. How about you share? Is there anything missing that you think it's really important for our listeners to know today?
Oh gosh, outside of Activate Good, I've assisted with programming at a variety of nonprofits in the various states that you mentioned. Serving in a variety of roles, from working at a YMCA to a Big Brothers Big Sisters and volunteer program in Wisconsin. So I've done an awful lot in that space and have been here at Activate Good for going on nearly 13 years now. And this is my fourth hat within the organization. I've been the executive director for about 16 months.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations. And it's so exciting to see all the good work that you are doing at Activate Good. But also because you're mentioning that you kind of come from some of these other nonprofits, uh, this is not a question that I had planned or anything, but I'm just curious is that I think that certain people are, they have that heart for doing good. Is it something that's always been part of you?
I think so. I was the kid always bringing home the kittens that my parents didn't want and really enjoyed the sales and fundraisers that our schools would have growing up and, would win the keyboard for the most sales.
You want a keyboard for the
I,
most sales? That's
the
awesome.
wrap paper sales. I mean, I still have it. My kids do. But I think I enjoy being able to give back and, volunteerism was important to my family growing up. We were very engaged, at church and through my father's work. We did a variety of different projects too. So I think it's just part of, who I grew up to be. And, I just really love this organization because it serves so many, 600 plus causes across the triangle, schools and nonprofits.
So, let's start with that. So, for anyone who is not familiar with Activate Good, can you share a little bit more about the mission or about some of the programs?
Yeah, our mission is to improve our community through people powered projects for good. We do that in a variety of ways. Number one, our website, activategood.org, is a volunteer landing page. You can go and sign up for anything. And we, again, have nonprofits and schools who are posting their needs there, whether they're one time event type shift based needs or ongoing committed roles or skills based volunteers. We nonprofits don't have the budget for professionally skilled folks. So there are a lot of needs out there. And even those higher level needs like board members and committee members and such, they can post those there. We do have a youth programming, two programs that have grown 81% over the last year. It's wild. And then corporate programming, because we're trying to create a pipeline of volunteers that can serve all of these needs that we're striving to share with the community. And
Mhm.
we just simply envision a world in which all people will realize and act on that potential and their power to improve their community around them.
This is fantastic to have this place that people can go to find the match. It's like matchmaking heaven here because what we speak about on the humanity of sales, where purpose meets profit, it has to do with facilitating these opportunities for organizations, for leaders to do good for their people, for their customers, and within the community. And so we found that in the research that we've done, that when organizations do that, when their focus is there, it actually comes back. It comes back in engaged employees and loyal customers and profitability. Now, what are your thoughts on that, first of all? And have you seen that as well? And then I want a little bit more details for some of those leaders who may be listening right now on how they can get more involved.
Oh gosh, so many ways. Our site sort of offers those opportunities to not only volunteer, but when you're there, you're learning, you're connecting with others, and you're creating change that truly matters in our region. And I failed to say that we are an affiliate of Points of Light, which is a global network of similar nonprofits doing this good work in the community and mobilizing volunteers to really engage and become those change makers in their community. I
Mm.
think oftentimes people don't know how to get involved and figure out what they're passionate about. And that's truly how we came to be. I'm happy to tell you the backstory of Activate Good. It's
I
very
want
interesting.
it.
But we just celebrated our 20th anniversary here in the Triangle this year. But we came to be after our founder Amber Smith took a cross country road trip when she was in college, a young leader in the nonprofit space, and she and her roommate volunteered in over 20 different cities and did random acts of kindness along the way. And when they returned, they sat down and thought, what was the common theme here? And it was that people wanted to do good, generally, just wanted to get involved, but didn't quite know how. And that is how our website was launched as this landing page for nonprofits to post their volunteer needs. And it's grown to be so much more than that as an organization and really a pipeline of volunteers for the Greater Triangle.
Wow, I love a good story. I love a good story. And so I love to hear how these things come to be. The same thing in organizations. How is that invention that takes over the world? It's because somebody had a challenge with something and had to figure out how to make it happen, right? And so similarly here, I love that how Amber and the team made that happen and what you've been doing with it since then. So if you are an organization who is looking to do more to contribute to the community, go to activategood.org and you'll be able to find lots of information and ways that you can do that. So that's fantastic. So I guess specifically for you, I know you said that you really like this organization, but was there something that inspired you to take on this work? Or was it a story, an initiative, or it just was presented to you?
Oh, yeah. So when I came to Activate Good, we were a team of two and a half, and I was the half.
I love that.
Sure. We had a web developer, our founder, and myself, the volunteer coordinator. Over time, I said I became, wore different hats within the organization. I assisted with getting various programming off the ground. And, we had 120 community partners when I joined, and we now have over 600 nonprofits and schools that utilize our services and for free. It's free for them, and it will continue to be. But, I joined this team really wanting to just get more plugged in here in the Triangle. I was new to this region. I had been a stay-at-home mom for a handful of years and parted ways with my nonprofit self for a little bit and, wanted to come back to this. And so actually, my story is a friend at the North Carolina Center for Nonprofits said, "Hey, this job is screaming your name. You should apply for this. It'd be perfect for you. It's only 15 hours a week." So that 15 became 20, became 25, became 30. And as our work grew and our team grew, I've been in full-time role here for a handful of years. And I just love that our cause is the one that supports so many. And there are so many that are important to me as a person too. I mentioned I'm a mom, youth is very important to me and I have an education background. We strive to support our schools in the area. Animals are important to me, helping those who are in need, especially right now more than ever, and seeing those needs on the rise over my time at Activate Good. It's been eye-opening and it's kept me here because I've really wanted to keep pushing our mission forward to go and grow.
Good. Now, you mentioned what we all know to be true at this moment in time is that there's a lot going on right now, and um, there's a lot of need, right? So, are there any specific current changes or challenges that you're working to solve or create in the community right now?
Yeah, I know we're speaking during a week when SNAP benefits are in the news, and food insecurity is alarmingly on the rise. So we're trying our best to spotlight the organizations working to combat that and fight food insecurity. So many have posted their volunteer needs on our site, whether it's just a need for folks to host a food drive. Get your neighbors out, get your colleagues out, and let's rally to get food to those that need it right now more than ever. So we have been doing a lot of spotlighting of those particular opportunities this week. And that's typically how our work has evolved. During the pandemic, we really buckled down on spotlighting the highest needs in the community and mobilizing volunteers to get out there, and we configured all the hot spots for Wake County schools, and we handled the volunteers for all the laptop distributions for our students that needed them. Hundreds of people volunteered through us during that weird time. And we helped to kind of mobilize volunteers to make vaccine clinics possible in neighborhoods that wouldn't have had them otherwise. So that's what our work has centered on, and what it will continue to do, as these hard times that we're seeing, I think, are going to unfortunately continue to evolve even more. So I'm just really trying hard to rally the community, encourage people to give back in any way, shape, or form that they can, whether it's with their time, talents, or resources that they might have, because we nonprofits really, really need that right now.
I do, and thank goodness that the platform that you have available to facilitate that happening for people who want to do something and have the skills or the time or the talent or whatever to make that happen. You make it just a little bit easier, right? So that's wonderful. Keep doing that. Now, I saw Rose speak recently, and during that presentation, she was talking about some specific ways that you can bring volunteering into your life, even if you're super busy. So I know that all of you listening to my shows love a good tip. So, Rose, would you be able to share a couple of things that people can do that are maybe easy ways to get started or to incorporate volunteering into their own lives or into their teams that's easy even when they're busy?
Yeah, I know at that conference, I challenged everyone in the audience, a few hundred people, to take 1 hour, just one lunch break a week, and use that to do something good. You can eat your salad while you write a letter to a senior, or while you
Right.
help with the crisis hotline, or you use your skills for good, whatever that may be. We have a volunteer who is creating an amazing database for us right now, and he's putting forth hours and hours of his time, but he's doing it because it's something he loves to do. It's a skill he has that we do not have. So we're able to better track the impacts we're making because of his volunteer time. And he's doing that when he's not at work and has these lunch breaks. So I would challenge folks to just even start with an hour, and you might see you find a cause you love and it grows into more than that over time. And then use a weekend a month, get out there and do something. Our site is just heavily populated with all kinds of nonprofit events and fundraisers that happen in evenings and weekends. So it's a good time for you, if you are a career driven person, to get out and do some good.
Hmm.
There are still virtual volunteer opportunities out there post COVID. So, from mentoring youth to helping to just translate documents, say you speak a second language, nonprofits need your help with that type of skills based work. It's really easy. If you're a graphic designer or a marketing professional or a social media guru, nonprofits can use your support with all those skills, because we just don't have the budget to pay professionals to do all that, especially our smaller nonprofits.
Hmm.
And if you are part of a family, I really encourage you to teach them young. Get your kids out there volunteering with you. There are many opportunities. And if you're in the Triangle, we make it very easy through the programs that we have for our youth.
Mm. That's so important because you and I, we have this common desire to help the up and coming youth, the leaders. And they need it. They need it so much. And the best way is to start them young, you know? So any of you parents out there, I love that idea. I used to do it all the time with my kids. Sometimes they absolutely loved it. Sometimes they went along because, I bribed them, but it turned into a love later.
They were voluntold,
They
Heather.
were
That's what they call it.
voluntold.
My
Exactly.
kids get voluntold all the time. My senior in high school has more hours than anyone because she helps with all of our events and projects, and she has since I joined this organization 12 years ago. But yeah, I think it's really important. And what's amazing with youth is we have Family Volunteer Day is one of our biggest days of service. We host big days and weeks throughout the year, and all Points of Light affiliates do this. But that is a nationwide day of service coming up actually November 22nd. Our shifts are full with a wait list already for that event, but we will have up to 500 volunteers taking on 12 service project stations at that event. But through that event, I speak to it because parents would come to us, this is great, Activate Good, but what do you have beyond this one day that youth can do and families can do? And our youth programming literally grew out of that one day of service. And now we host multiple projects a month for our Activate Kids program and our youth volunteer corps.
Mm. That's wonderful because it's not just, we think about it. Oh, it's Thanksgiving. Let's do something to help someone, right? But no, you need it all year long.
And that is a pet peeve of mine. I do have to say it.
It's okay.
It's
I've
to
been
give
known to
back.
share a few pet peeves of mine as well. Come on, bring it on.
It's great to give back during the holidays, folks, but let's do it year round. Imagine the world we'd live in if everybody was giving back year round like they do during the holidays, whether that's financial giving or getting out to, serve meals and get turkeys and other meals out to folks that need them. We need to be doing that year round, especially right now. We really do.
I really do. I am with you on that soapbox. I found that I do a lot of corporate retreats and events that every time I do an event, it will incorporate some type of a contribution project to the community where we are doing this. And what I've seen is the most incredible transformation. It ends up being the thing that they talk about most in the surveys. Oh my gosh, this was so great. I felt so connected to everyone. I cried, So, like I said, I love a good story. So, do you have a story for us about something that touched your heart that you found that it changed someone that was helping?
Mm. I am full of those stories.
I bet you have so many you can't even think of them, right?
Yeah, but I often always land on a few that have really just stuck with me and kept me going here at this organization. But number one is our biggest day of service throughout the year is September 11th. And, as an individual who was you know, alive here during that time and remembers exactly what that day was like and watched events unfold live on TV and worried if her brother was even in the towers. Um, Seeing folks from all backgrounds come together and unite on that day to do what we do really is so heartwarming. We mobilized 1,038 volunteers to take on 33 project shifts this September 11th, and two of those shifts were at our event that could hold up to 800 people total across two shifts. And, at that event, we have 12 service project stations. So people come in, it's very free flowing. They do what they want to do. But what I see is people talking and people from all kinds of backgrounds and connecting. And the thread is that service really does unite. And we saw that on September 11th. We see it every year when we do this event. And I'm excited to see what it sounds weird to say I'm excited about this day, but next year will be the 25th anniversary, and we've joined the 9/11 Day Coalition to make it the biggest day of service in our nation's history. So I am really going to work hard to double up our
I am
efforts,
motivated.
double up our number of volunteers. I think it's just truly important. But what's been really moving is just the testimonies we receive after that day. People emailing us and saying, "Wow, seeing the droves of people come out together, I needed that. I didn't know how badly I needed to see that and be a part of it. And thank you for what you're doing." And then even some 9/11 survivors who were there, emailing us after the fact. We didn't even know. And they were like, it's hard for me to leave my house this day, but I'm so glad I did. Thank you. So that day to me is very pivotal every year. It brings on a lot of emotions, but we do this to honor those lost with acts of kindness and service. And those who are still suffering, from illnesses that they were, contracted while they are helping to find survivors even.
I can only imagine, and hopefully I can be involved with you next year. It, you mentioned the connections, and I feel like in today's world, there's so much disconnection. There's so much isolation. There's so much fear that what we really need is to connect with this level of humanity, right? And so I'm going to encourage you to keep doing what you do, Rose, and encourage those of you listening to check out Activate for Good. No, just activategood.org, right?
Acting
I
good.
keep throwing in that four. Activategood.org. And is there anything else that you'd like to share with people before we head off today?
Just do what you can for your neighbors in need. I mean, our times are, I don't even have words for them at this point. And every day in the nonprofit sector, it seems there's something new that's hurting us. And we need your support right now more than we ever have. What we're seeing in terms of the needs in our community are double what they were during COVID. And COVID was really, really hard and traumatic to get through as an organization. But
Mhm.
here we are with double the need. And Activate Good, we typically have 5 or 6 community partner applications a month. We're seeing 5 or 6 a week now. So the level of need is alarmingly rising, and I don't anticipate that stopping anytime soon. So anything you could do, again, if it's 1 hour a week, I ask you to just try it and see, if there's a cause out there you can connect with, and connect with me if you don't know how. I'm happy to help.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Rose Thompson. Thank you, activategood.org. We appreciate what you're doing. And listeners, if you are touched today, you're inspired to do something, don't definitely go to activategood.org, but also share this. Share this out. Let us know what you think and get the message out there. If you just do a little bit, if you dip your toe in, it'll create this snowball effect, and we will be doing more and more good in the world in a time when we really need it. Thank you all. We'll see you again next time. So, what do you think? Was I right in inviting Rose onto the show today? I think she did a fantastic job, and I love what activategood.org is doing. So, let us know what you think. We love the comments. We love the testimonials. We love when you share it out in the world. But most of all, make sure you come back. You subscribe and you come back each time to hear more of these incredible stories of how you too can find humanity. The humanity of sales, where purpose meets profit.